Hi guys, my name is Kamil and I am a senior full stack developer. I have more than 13 years of experience and today I will show you all the pros and cons of working with freelancers and agencies. Also, I will explain about choosing between freelancer and agency depending on your project and your personal criteria, personal reasons. So, without further ado, let's get started and let's go through all pros and cons of working with freelancers. So, assuming you are a startupper or just some businessman who want to launch his or her project, what pros you should consider if you go to work with freelancer. So lower cost. Yes, it's true typically, but of course there are some exceptions. But anyway, in general term, it's cheaper than work with agency. Then direct communication. Yes, it's true, but keep in mind that it depends on the freelancer. Because if you work with some untrustworthy freelancer who just have those huge delays between your async communication, then it might be a bit harder and it's not a pros anymore. So freelancer just can go away without saying nothing. Flexibility. Yes, but it's also debatable. By the way, let me eliminate some of these pros and cons that I think that they are some debatable, yeah, and maybe even controversial, and they are really depends on the exact person which you're working with. So direct communication, it's not necessarily pros because it might be that this freelancer will let you down. So be aware, and to make sure that your work will be done, you can work with me, with a freelancer who is trustworthy. So I eliminate this one. Flexibility, I can't agree with this. Yeah, I have made this list by my own, but I just split out all these stuff that I have in my mind, okay? But now I will clear it and we will keep only important things, only important pros and cons. So flexibility, it's debatable actually, because maybe, yes, it depends on your project. If your project is niched and really specialized, for example, you are working with some animations or some crypto projects based on some coins and some ecosystem, some crypto net, then you are not flexible at all. Even maybe you will experience some problems with finding agencies. Yeah, flexibility is not the key here. It depends on your project. Faster decisions, yes, it's almost always it's true, because for agency it would be harder to pivot from one direction to another, but for freelancers, yes, it's much easier. I will keep it here. Specialized expertise, yeah, it's totally true, because I think mostly all agencies, at least that I know, they are made like just a Swiss knife. Like they can do anything, whatever you want, yes. But in terms of freelancers, we need to niche and focus on some special skills. For example, my niche is web applications, dashboard, and other SaaS projects. For example, I don't do landing pages. I don't work with CMS like Shopify, WordPress, etc. But I work as a full stack for complex web applications, and I work on optimizations just because I've been working on it all my life. So I just know what I should do to solve the problem of my client. I am kind of a prisoner of my niche. I can't go. For me, actually, yes. For my pet project, for example, I studied crypto, I studied Ton ecosystem and Ethereum. But anyway, I can't focus on it right now to monetize these skills. Yes, but agencies, there are some agencies that are niched, but in my opinion, many of agencies are they are ready to work with any topic, with any niche. Personal attention, yeah, it's totally true. But again, in agencies, you have some kind of personal project manager, or you can even get in touch with some developers, tech leads, team leads, etc. So it's debatable. So I wouldn't say that personal attention it's only pros of freelancer. It might also be pros for agency as well. Easier to switch, again, it depends. It really depends, because if you work with some specialized project, then no, then it's not easy to switch developer at all. And by the way, I think for agency, it's also partially true that actually they can switch developers, they can switch project managers. So I'll eliminate it as well. And now we have totally not debatable, at least in my opinion, non-debatable pros: lower cost, specialized expertise, and faster decisions. Yeah, I agree that working with freelancer, you will get these pluses. Okay, cons. What about minuses to work with a freelancer? Limited capacity. Yeah, it's partially true because if you work with some freelancer who can employ another teammates, another assistants, then the capacity will grow. For example, I can request some help from my assistant, and then we will be working together on your project. Yeah, it's totally okay, and it's negotiable. So it's debatable. I can say that it's a really con, it's really minus of working because it depends on freelancer. Single point of failure, it's totally true. For example, if the freelancer disappears, then you can't get his last changes at all. Availability constraints. And by the way, that's why you need to pay attention to trust. So work with someone who you trust. At least work with someone who is online and you saw him face. For example, me, I run my YouTube channel, Instagram. You can at least be sure that I'm not an agency, I'm not an AI agent pretending a freelancer. So I'm a real human being and don't hide any information from you. Availability constraints. Yes, it might be true, but again, in agency, people who work on agencies are also the same people. So they might live in other countries, in other time zones. So it depends on agency and freelancer. And it's not only about freelancer, it applies to agency as well. I will delete it. May lack breadth. Yes, it might be true. Yeah, I will keep it here. No backup. Actually, I will delete it. Why? Because I see on Upwork there are many job posts who looking for freelancers as a backup guy, support another freelancers, another tech lead, etc. So no, I think it's not really a con. Harder to scale in terms of business. Yeah, it's true. It's much harder to scale your project, but it's possible. It's still possible because your freelancer, your main developer, can hire many other developers and just scale your business. It's totally possible, but maybe it would be harder to find such a developer. So now let's go to agency mode. If you decide to work with agency, you will get the next benefits. Dedicated team. Yeah, it's totally true, but it costs. Broader skill sets might be, but you can't actually check and validate the skills the employees who work on the agency. There are a lot of cases when agencies and owner of agencies just sell some juniors to you as highly senior experienced developer. So again, it's all about trust. Here you have to trust to owner of the agency and maybe project manager, etc., because you can get some junior or middle developer who didn't work with this needed skill, but they say that this guy can solve your problem. Yeah, it's possible. So it's debatable, and that's why I will eliminate it from here. Scalability, yes. I think agency is focused on scale. It's their profit, and good agencies actually are focusing on retainer. Yeah, and retainer in terms of IT services, it's scalability in most cases. So I think good agencies provide scalability. Backup resources, yeah, I agree. Established processes, yeah, but of course, again, it depends on the agency. If it's a good agency, then yes, they have SOAP, they have documentations for all processes, so it's just much more serious than freelancer. But again, there are good freelancers as well. Long-term capacity. Yeah, I totally agree. Cons, higher cost. Yeah, it's true, of course. Providing the fact that it's a good agency and they have all these benefits, you will pay much more than you would pay to a freelancer. Slower communication, I don't agree. I am deleting it because it depends on your project manager and your agreement. Okay, so it might be that actually the communication is faster when you work with agency than working with freelancer. So it depends. Less flexibility. I don't agree because it's just a group of people. They have their interest in your business, in they need to provide their solution to you. Yes. So there is no point to argue with you if you want to pivot somewhere. I don't think that agencies are not flexible and they may be less flexible than a freelancer. No, it's not true actually, but I just thought about it. I picked this from an article when I prepared to this video. Potential for junior staff on project. Yeah, it's true. It's actually, I think it's the most common issue we working with agency because you can't check. And again, it depends on your agreement. If you can do a screening, if you can check a new employee who works on this agency, then you can overcome this issue. Yeah, you can solve it because you will be sure that this guy from agency will work for your project as you need it. Okay, at all level of skills. Agency overhead, it depends on agency, of course. Maybe yes, sometimes they really overcomplicate things at many times actually, especially project managers, because they don't understand tech stack and how the processes work under the hood. They might overcomplicate overhead things. Longer onboarding, yes, it's like pre-sale, like selling process. Yes, you can just discuss your project much time. I will keep it here. Longer onboarding, yes, I think it's true. So here we can pros and cons. You can see it. I won't read it. I've already done it. So now we see these all pros and cons, and now let's discuss some details that are related to your case. I will go through these types of project that you might have. You maybe have this idea or you even plan to launch these applications. In case you want to launch an MVP project, it's just a startup and you want to run some idea and validate your hypothesis before moving forward and developing the whole project, then maybe I should go to a freelancer. Okay, just yes, I know there are some agencies who focus exactly on MVPs and it's totally cool, but also I know that there are so many freelancers who work only on MVPs. In terms of MVP, we are going to save some money. So saving money, it's only about freelancer. Landing page, again, I would keep it here in between just because, there are so many cool agencies who make these really custom, really cool web designs. So but also there are freelancers. So yeah, I think you can go to both freelancer or agency. It doesn't matter for landing page at all, at least in my opinion. SaaS web applications dashboard. So in this case, I would keep it here as well because there are many experienced freelancers like me, for example, on Upwork, on other job boards. But of course, if you have money, then you can go to agency right now, yes. But actually freelancers can do it as well. Maintenance. So about maintenance, I think it's just cheaper and it's more reasonable to go to just some freelancer to maintain your project. Fixed price works also. I would go to freelancer, yeah. So yeah, SaaS and web dashboards, maybe it's better to go to agency, but I work on in this niche as well. So, and now we're going to discuss these your personal reasons why why you should go to freelancer or web agency. So save money. In this term, if your main important thing, your priority is saving money, then you should go to freelancer. It's not debatable. Get trust. Actually, I will keep it here in between because nowadays you can see many scam agencies. Yeah, some many newbies, many strange agencies. So trust is just trust. It relates to all people. It doesn't matter you are freelancer or you are an agency. Lower your personal involving. Yeah, and this one is about agency. It's only about agency because they know what to do and you don't need to micromanage them. You just help them by answering some questions, but you don't need to retest your application so much in ideal scenario, of course. But again, if you can find some good trustworthy freelancer, then maybe you can delegate the whole work to a freelancer, except business process, of course. Quality, I wanted to keep quality here in agency, but again, I see that there are so many agencies who actually doesn't bother about quality at all. They bother about money. So I keep it here in between. So this was my mind map about choosing between freelancer or agency. I have shared all my thoughts with you. Press the like button, subscribe to my channel, and thank you for watching. Bye bye.